Hello and welcome back to the Custom Garage Build Series. Today we're headed across town to a friend's garage. I talked in the past about showing you how the grid material worked out, the Cornwell tool organization gridding that I was going to use at home. And in the meantime, I haven't had a chance to get to that. So I thought it'd be a good time to pop in down here and show you what I've done to just a roll around toolbox on my first attempt to organize this system inside of a cart. So I'm going to flip the camera around and show you that I got just a base Cornwell cabinet that I purchased, I don't know, $1,800, just as a mobile unit to roll around and work on cars. So let me flip here, and there it is. It's a good unit. I'm not really fond of these pull-outs, and I'll tell you why. These slide-outs is because you end up piling stuff on top of here, and then you realize you need to get inside of there and get what's inside. So you're constantly shifting stuff off the top of it. That's the only downfall. It's nice hidden storage, but extra storage, but I don't know. I'd rather not have it the way it is. I wish some of these toolboxes made by different manufacturers, this flips up, which is probably a better idea, because then you're not prone to set stuff on top of it. You're just going to leave it open as an extension to your cabinet. But as we look down inside here, you can see the grid system and how it lays out. It's not perfect and it's not finished, but it's close. As you can see here, I started off with this dead space in the front because it's, when you're reaching in here, you don't want to be reaching back here. You want to start, somewhere further in so you have access to your sockets. Now, what I did here is I just put these units in here to hold the extensions and put a lot of the extensions up front. So I started off with my 1/4-inch drive. I always go small to large. That's just the way it should be. Some people might do it differently, but that way there's no confusion. You know where your 1/4-inch drive is, you know where your 3/8 drive is, you know where your 1/2-inch drive is, and you know all the way back to the back where the deep wells are. So I would suggest that if a person's going to use a lot of sockets in repairs, car repairs, mostly, or stuff like that, I would definitely stick with impact sockets. I would not waste my money on these chrome sockets, even though these are snap-on and they're very expensive, and they are warranty if they get worn. Just the point being that the impact socket generally has a thicker sidewall. It holds up better. You don't ever want to work on cars with 12-point sockets unless it's a necessity for a certain kind of bolt in the car. And the reason being is the sidewalls split out on them, especially if you're using any kind of impact behind them, air or electric. They will not hold up. So I left a little space in here for ratchets, and I can, put some different brackets in here to accommodate for them. And there's many different versions of Torx now. There's probably 4 or 5 different versions of how the 5 points are cut into them, and posi drives, and these are called tamper proof, where they actually got a pin in the middle, which you need the hole in the middle here to accommodate it. They call them tamper proof. These are a set of swivels, nothing expensive. A friend of mine gave these to me as a birthday present. They work out real great, but they're shallow. So you get into anything that has a long stud on it, you're not going to be able to use these. So that's why I have shallow, I have mid-length or mid-depth, intermediate I should call them. These will handle a little bit deeper stud with a nut on it. And then these are 1/2-inch drive. Obviously I'm missing a couple here. It goes back into the real deep well sockets back here, and then axle sockets and things of that nature back here. These are pretty handy if you're using a hex drive. They're metric. This is the name of the company right here, Aries. Very reasonably priced, and they're magnetic, and they're extended. So those work out pretty good when you're trying to get into door panels and different stuff where you don't want to be messing around with sockets or extensions. Down the side here, obviously the box is already set up to hold all the screwdrivers. I always run with, I'll put all my plain drives on one side, and I put all my Phillips on the other side. And then after I'm done with those, I put whatever else I have after that. Over here I have some really super long Torx. These things, you can't buy them anymore. Amazing when you're inside of doors trying to get to take the door handles out. Probably Mercedes is one of the worst ones. And if you're wondering why I have this knowledge, I spent 45 plus years in the collision business, and I still help out from time to time when I when I get bored, I jump back in and help out with some friends in their shops. That's kind of what this is doing here. I'll jump in once in a while, knock out a few jobs, help somebody out, and then go back to, the garages again, or the sheds, or the cabins, or the backyard, or whatever else comes along. Now this top drawer I wanted to just show you. This is what happens when you don't have a system in place. This is a disaster. It's got to get fixed. Trust me. And it will. This drawer now, we've gone into, this is just a plier drawer. So I always go screwdrivers, pliers, wrenches, or screwdrivers, wrenches, pliers, but always start, and being that I have my screwdrivers mostly up front, I do all my handle stuff in my top drawer, just how it is. And there's some other specialty stuff in here, Allen wrenches, I call them crack torches, different things that, you need. Now in this drawer, it's mostly pliers, pretty much all pliers, specialty hose clamp type tools. This is an amazing tool right here for taking off spring-loaded hose clamps. This tool here is designed to take the grommets off of exhaust systems. They hang on rubber grommets and they're always a bear to get off of the pins. And this tool, you can go in there and push on that grommet off the pin on this end, and they come right off. So that's an amazing tool. This is just standard vice grips, different types of vice grips. These are like door panel popping tools. They go under the clip and they push it up. This wire rack in here works out pretty darn good. The drawer is not deep enough or wide enough. I wish it was wide enough that I could just run 2 of these. And if it was deep enough, I'd run, something different in the back, but it's not. So you do what you can with the size that you're working with. Now this drawer is my wrench drawer. Now I want to point out something here. This is something that Cornwell did when they sold their wrench sets. I kept it because it's perfect. It's foam. It's got all your sizes down the side. In fact, the Cornwell guys, dealers were throwing these away because they take all the wrenches out and hang them on their boards in the truck, and they basically would throw all this stuff away. So I grabbed quite a few of them, and this is something that I had prior to that can be pulled out of here if I need to just take it. If I have to just take it over to a vehicle and lay it down on a tray while I'm working. The rest of the wrenches around the outside of this are just not everyday wrenches, line wrenches, extended ratchet at one end and a 12 point at the other end. Now, this is one time where I will honestly say 12 points work in a wrench. I'm fighting a really bad infection here, and it's just making me cough, and I apologize for that. Show must go on though, right? So anyway, this drawer is my air tool drawer. Again, a disaster. I'm going to show you in future videos how we can buy this material right here, and it comes in layers. And you take the top layer and you lay it down and you draw around all the tools that you want it to sit into, like a little diagram around them. Then you take a X-Acto knife and you cut just the top layer out of it. It might even be 2 layers. And you cut the slot where you want the tool to go. Then the third layer comes in underneath it and creates the bottom of it. So when you drop your tools in, they hit the bottom and it holds them. That's my idea with this. I'm going to foam this drawer and I'm going to have everything laid out accordingly. And the thing about that is that you don't think about it on a daily basis, but when you're doing stuff, you get scattering tools. The end of the day comes, you're cleaning up. If something's missing, you're going to know it. Whereas if I just threw all these wrenches in here like this, I could be years before I'd realize I was missing a 13 or a 15 or a 17. I wouldn't know it. But when I get all done at the end of the night, and these are all missing, and I think I took them home. To be honest with you, I don't think they're missing. They just weren't put back after I was done using them. So, as you can see, I've got quite a bit of Milwaukee in here. I'll talk a little bit about ratchets here, battery operated ratchets. Milwaukee makes a really good 3/8 and a 1/4 inch, and I was buying the ones that were plastic. They had kind of a plastic head on them down here, and they weren't very durable. These, you can beat them up pretty good, and they've got a lot of torque. In the 3/8 and 1/4 inch, they make that 3/8 in about 3-4 different lengths. The same thing with the 1/4, and these are hard to beat. They got a light on them. They'll handle a pretty big battery, and they get the job done. The same way with the drills and anything else that Milwaukee makes. Bottom drawer, let's see. Bottom drawer is just hammers. Again, a disaster. here's a drawer that's 8 inches deep, and I'm only utilizing probably the bottom 2 inches of it. And the reason being is there's nothing there to support any of that that's thrown in there. Again, I'm going to try to take the foam idea and expand on it and see if I can't get that drawer under control too. It's all about being organized. The more organized you are, the smoother your work goes, the less frustrated you get, you save time, and you know, time is precious to all of us nowadays. If you can take a 2-hour job and turn it into 1 hour because you had organization like this, it's well worth it. It's painful to get there, but once you get there and you stay behind it, it does work, and it is, to me, the way it should be. It's just my opinion. Might not be yours, and that's fine too, but I just wanted to show this a little bit because we're going to come back to it. You can see here they did it here on these extensions too. These are some really neat swivels, and what they do is, I can't hold the camera and do that too, but I'm going to unlock it. So what it has is a slide out right in here, and you pop it up and it'll turn this in from a solid extension to a swivel. Now it doesn't have obviously the degrees that you'd get out of a standard swivel like this. Obviously this one will get a lot more angle out of it, I'm thinking. Maybe not. That's pretty close. This is a great intermediate tool when you're trying to get up into a tight spot. But again, you can see how they use the foam system, and it's amazing. It's a little pricey. I'll be honest with you. I bought one piece of it, and I don't remember what I paid for it, but at the time I thought, wow, that's quite a bit. But you're only going to do this once. That's my feeling. You do it right the first time, and you don't have to do it again, and it lasts a long time, and you keep track of your tools, because believe me, this stuff isn't getting any cheaper. As many corners as you can cut on it, it's still, you can tie up a lot of money real quick in a toolbox. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for viewing the channel again. You'll be back to see the future videos on this tool organization at home and that brand new Husky 84-inch, I think it was, cabinet that I have, and that's coming up. We've just been trying to get everything done in the yard because weather's hitting us now, and once that's all done, then I'm going to be inside for the winter pretty much. Then we'll start rolling again on the garage projects. So again, thanks for tuning into the channel today. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification for all. You'll get all of the latest and greatest videos, and thanks again for watching. Bye now.